Today I'm going to be debunking the top 10 myths plaguing the fragrance community. So if you're interested in doing some serious learning, stay tuned.
Fragrance on me, God, I'm asking what it means. Confidence loud, but the scent stay refined. Always in the zone, got a fragrant state of mind.
So before we get started, I just want to give credit where credit is due. This idea is not mine. This is actually a list that was posted in one of my Facebook groups by someone named John Harper, and I'm going to put his Instagram right here. I did reach out to him to make sure that it was okay to make this video since it was his original idea. So if you want to give thanks, head over to his Instagram and give him a follow. Fragrance myth number 1. Oil percentage means a stronger scent. A lot of people in the fragrance community often assume that the more fragrance oils a fragrance has, the better it performs. And that's often not the case. Now, a lot of times, yes, you will get better longevity out of a fragrance that has more fragrance oils in it. But what's even more important than fragrance concentration is the ingredients used. As an example, a fragrance that has a higher concentration of alcohol tends to project better. So fragrances like EDTs will project better, which I think a lot of people are looking for. They want that serious projection in a fragrance. They want something that's going to fill the room, and you're going to get that more so with the EDTs and sometimes even EDPs. When you get into a parfum situation, you're getting maybe less projection and you're typically getting better longevity. But that can change depending on the ingredients. So certain ingredients will perform better than others, but not all the time. So it really varies, which is why it's so important to get a fragrance on skin and test it for its performance before you purchase that fragrance. Number 2, EDP is the same as extrait de parfum. That is not the case. EDP actually means eau de parfum. Extrait de parfum is actually the same as parfum, which can sometimes be called pure parfum or perfume extract. Number 3, elixir is another oil concentration. So typically what you have is EDT, EDP, and parfum, things like that. That is an oil concentration depending on the percentage of oil to alcohol. With elixir, it's really more of a marketing term. A lot of times an elixir is when they take a fragrance that already has a certain DNA and then they kind of darken it up or brighten it up a little bit. That's usually what you get with an elixir, although it's really varied across platforms, but most of the time an elixir is going to be a variant or a flanker of an existing DNA that is really just a marketing term. Another example of a marketing term would be something like using the word extreme. Number 4, you can tell a fragrance's concentration by shaking it. You can tell a fragrance's oil concentration by shaking it and looking at the bubbles. The answer is no. Go ahead and test it yourself. It just doesn't work. Number 5, it's illegal for a fragrance brand to mislabel the oil concentration. And unfortunately, that's not true at all. Fragrance brands typically do not get policed on what oil concentration, etc., etc. There's not really anyone checking those things. A lot of what you're getting is sort of marketing. Sometimes you'll see a $10 fragrance say that it's an extrait de parfum, and really it's not. They're using very cheap ingredients, high percentages of alcohol, and no one's getting arrested or fined over that. Unfortunately, fragrances are super liberal with what they put on the bottle, so always make sure that you're buying a fragrance from a company that you trust. Number 6, clones are identical to the OGs. So I do own many fragrance clones, I own many fragrance dupes and things like that. Unfortunately, I have yet to find any fragrance clone that smells exactly like the original. Oftentimes you're losing something. Either you're getting a little bit of alcohol opening, or you're getting a completely different dry down, or sometimes it'll be very similar, but the quality is not there. Typically, the ingredients used are going to be slightly cheaper and slightly less effective. Even when they're using high quality ingredients, a lot of these ingredients are patented by the original house, so oftentimes you're getting something that has to be reproduced, and it's always going to be just a little bit different. Number 7, synthetic fragrances can cause allergic reactions and health issues. Both synthetics and naturals can be dangerous depending on how your body reacts to them. It's always important to purchase your fragrances from brands that you trust, that you know keep your health as a first priority. Number 8, wearing a fragrance in the proper season is important. Although I think in certain circumstances and certain fragrances, the season can affect what you wear. But my take on a lot of these things is wear what you want, when you want, and don't let anyone tell you that you can or can't wear a fragrance. Number 9, fragrances will only make you more attractive if you dress nice. So this is somewhat true and somewhat not true, okay? Listen, dress the way you want, present the way you want. I think the most important thing with any fragrance or any sort of attempt to attract the person that you're interested in is really dependent on your hygiene, more so than your clothes. Listen, you could wear clothes from Walmart, Target, or Balenciaga. It doesn't really matter as long as you're washing yourself properly and taking care of your hygiene. That's really all it takes. Wash your face, make sure your hair's not unkempt, and you know, fragrance is sort of that added little bonus. I like to compare fragrance to being the cherry on top of a sundae. If your milk and the ice cream is sour, no one's gonna wanna eat you. Number 10, cologne is a term for male fragrances. Back in the 80s and 90s when I was growing up, everyone called fragrance that men wore cologne. So cologne is just another oil concentration. You've got eau fraiche, then you've got cologne, then you've got EDT, EDP, Parfum, etc., etc. Cologne is just another fragrance concentration, and a lot of people back in the day were wearing colognes because it said cologne on the bottle, so they used that term sort of synonymously with fragrance that men wear. Now you can also call it perfume because perfume is what it is. That's why they call them perfumers. Perfumers make perfume, and that means it is for men or women. I think nowadays there's sort of this blurred line between what's male, what's female. A lot of fragrances nowadays can be unisex, even if it's marketed as a female or male fragrance. Listen, once again, we're going back to the fact, wear what you want, when you want. If it suits you, just be happy and smell the best you want to smell. Anyway, so that's the list. Once again, thank you, John Harper, for this great idea. I really appreciate you allowing me to make this video. Please go check him out on Instagram if you get a chance. Also, check out my website, afragrancestateofmind.com, so you guys can score some great deals on decants, as well as be able to follow me on more socials and things like that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you all. There's going to be a couple more videos this week, right before Christmas, so definitely stay tuned for that. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and as always, have a fragrant state of mind.
Yeah. Smell good. Yeah. Yeah.